guys, and welcome to another one of these current households here. Anyways, so I have a new current household. I was playing the Millmans there for a while and just playing them in The Sims 3 and having a blast with them. And I don't know, I just kind of got into a funk where Sims wasn't interesting to me for a little while. And I think it's because sometimes I feel like with all the videos that I make and all the live streaming that I do of it, I just get to the point where I get bored of it and I just want to play something else. But I've recently gotten back into playing The Sims 3, and so I'm bringing a current household out to you guys, but it's not with the current household with the Millmans. It's somebody else that I created a really, really long time ago. So I'm going to give you the backstory before I kind of show you the household and where they are at today. But we live in Sunlit Tides, and the reason that we live here is because um, hey, Holly. Okay, so my two main characters are Holly and Art, and they are best friends forever. And when we moved here, they were trying to get away from their past because it wasn't the best past that they had had. And so Art brought his father, and Holly brought her mother with her. And Holly at the time had a child's daughter. So she brought, it was just those five, and Holly and Art's mom and dad were actually dating. So they were interested in each other. They were elders, so they just kind of let them do it. And Holly and Art were just, like I said, best friends, and things were going good and they were having a good time. And it was nice to get away from the drama from where they used to live. Anyway, so they moved here to Sunlit Tides to start a new life, and ever since things have definitely changed. But let me start from the very beginning and try and explain the life to you because it's going to be very hard to explain. So when we moved here, I decided that because they had quite a bit of money from the world that they lived in before, which I can't honestly remember where they lived, but they did live somewhere. I just don't remember. Um, so they moved here and they had quite a bit of money from the old house and stuff that they had sold to move here. And so I decided to build them a house. Well, because this Sunlit Tides is based off of modern homes, I decided that I wanted to go with a modern home theme. And so I looked into some of the modern homes that were in the town, and I found one that I really, really liked. Um, and it ended up that I tried to kind of recreate it a little bit, but change it to my own needs or likes as well. So this is what I came up with. Um, all right. Well, I'm just going to show you the family. You're going to see all the people in the family, but it's all right. Y'all have to explain it. Anyways, whoops. So this house here is what I actually came up with here. Um, this is definitely created by me. And it's not like I didn't utilize anything that was here. I literally built this all from scratch, and it's just like my modern home that I created, and I'm pretty proud of it, to be honest with you. So this is what it looks like, and it definitely didn't start out this big, and I'll explain that as I go, but it definitely didn't start out this big, and it just ended up being this big. So it's really nice. I like it. I appreciate this house, and I love that, I built it and I feel proud of it, and so I just really liked it. Anyways, back into the story. So when we moved here, um, we had, like I said, the two elders that were dating, which since we've been here for a while and it's winter now, they've actually passed on, unfortunately. But then their two children, Art and Holly, and then the daughter Jezebel moved here. Okay, so we will start with Art. This here is Art, and where is he? Trying to find him. Where is he? Oh, he's in the shower. Okay, he's naked. Whoa. So this is Art, and he is a guy who has always wanted that one true love. He's always wanted that one person whom he could call his, and whom would love him to the end of time. And so when he moved here, his lifetime wish is to be the one sim band, but he kind of decided that he was going to take a break from trying to become that perfect person who can sing and play music and people listen to and look up to. And he decided to go into the culinary career, and he wanted to try a little bit something else. His dad was always so much into gardening, and so this was kind of a way of him to like still be close to him in a way. He was still here with us at the time, but just for him to be able to take some time and to do what he needs to do and to make himself happy, in the long run, by going ahead and getting into culinary because it was something good. Anyways, so in the long run, Art decided that, he was going to go into culinary, and he met this beautiful, beautiful girl named Alice Grantham. Now, Alice was that lady who was already married. She had a husband, and things were good with her husband. But, every marriage, if you lack in one place, it can make or break it. And so, she lacked in feeling loved by him, and he lacked in her like the time that he wanted in a relationship from somebody. So anyways, she kind of was eyeing Art, and Art was eyeing her, and they started kind of hitting things off. And so Art didn't know Alice was married when he became involved with her. He didn't know that she was married at the time, and she kind of didn't let on because she thought that, nothing was ever going to come of it. It was just going to be her and him, maybe flirting here and there, but nothing bad was ever going to come of it. And so she kind of just like let it go. And it ended up being that not only did it become more than just flirting, but it ended up with, a night in a bar and a one night stand, which ended up that Alice got pregnant by Art. And, she was shocked. She didn't know who to tell or whatever, but she was married, and she knew that now was the time to confess. Like, she had done something wrong, so she needed to confess to her mistakes. And so she told her husband, and her husband was very angry, and because of the anger, he actually had a heart attack and unfortunately passed away after she told him this news. So, now she's a widow, and she had kids of her own with her ex-husband. So it was definitely a struggle for her, to get back on the horse and to be romantic with somebody. But she was already so involved with Art that she loved him so, so very much. Like, she just wanted to be loved by somebody, and for someone to love her the way that she loved them. And so she went ahead and she let Art in. She broke down the wall for him, and she let him in. And she decided that it was time to pursue Art a little bit more, because he was a good catch, and she could see it. And so she wanted to be with him, and he was showing that he wanted to be with her. So she went ahead and, they started dating, and things got really serious as she was more and more pregnant. And Art finally, before she gave birth to the baby, asked if she wanted to move in, and she said, yes, I would love to. And since she had kids in the previous marriage, they were too young to leave on their own, so obviously she had to bring them with her. Now, not only did this throw a wrench in the plans that Art had, because he's having a baby, and that's not what he came here to do. He didn't come here to like have a one night fling and end up being like changing his life forever. But it threw a wrench in Holly's plans, because Holly is that best friend of Art who loved him dearly and literally couldn't get enough of him. She just wanted to be happy with him. She just wanted to be with him. Even knowing she didn't let on that she loved him in that way, she just wanted to be able to know that he loved her the same way. And him moving in Alice was kind of like a punch to the face. Like, he didn't love her romantically, he only loved her as a friend. And it was hard for her to come to terms with it, and there was definitely a couple of arguments that went down. But because, Art explained to her that, she's having his baby, and she can't, he can't just leave her on the streets. She doesn't have a job, and she's working so hard to be somebody good for them, that she just decided that, she was going to put it aside. She was going to do this to Art. She was going to stick around with Jezebel and, watch it play out and hope the best for Art and Alice. Because, even knowing she couldn't make him happy, she always wants Art to be happy no matter what. So she went ahead and she let Alice and the children move in. And she kind of helped be like, not a stepmom to them, but like kind of like a nanny, or a aunt, really, an aunt to them. So, she kind of took them under her wing, and she definitely loved them. She loved them to the extreme. Like, she loved those kids, and she would have done anything for them. Now, Jezebel was still here with her, so she was raising her own child at the same time, but the kids were like Jezebel's age, so it was like perfect. They could get along, and it was like, they had best friends within the house. And Holly was happy, even knowing she wasn't with Art and she had to watch him fall in love with someone else. Like, it broke her heart, but she still loved him, and she would do anything for him, no matter if it meant letting him go. And so, after moving everyone in, it was Art, Alice, Holly, the parents of Holly and Art, Jezebel, Sophie, Catherine, and Ty, because they had 3 kids together. So the house got really, really quickly filled, like extremely quick filled. And it got a little bit overwhelming until the day that Art and Holly's parents, well, each of their parents passed away. It ended up being that, it was a lot. They were old as when we moved here, so it was a little bit like odd in a way that, they had to see this all happening. And, her mom knew that she was in love with him, and it was hard for her to watch, like, the heartbreak that Holly was going through. But, she didn't say anything, just for the fact that she didn't want to upset anyone in the family or make anything very awkward or anything. So she just decided to kind of step aside and let it play out as well. And eventually they unfortunately passed away, and Holly and Art were devastated. Their whole life revolved around their parents. They lived in the family, and they had that connection with them that no parent normally has with their kids. Like, they were like best friends with them, and they did everything with them. And so Holly and Art kind of took a little bit of like satisfaction in each other and knowing that each other was there for them, and kind of took advantage of that. And actually, like, they decided to, instead of mourning their parents' lives, they wanted to celebrate their lives. So they actually went out to the bar and got really, really drunk, ended up having to call a cab home, and ended up sleeping together, ending in a pregnancy. Now, Alice had just had the baby, and so it put a wrench in the system for Alice and him. And so, because he was feeling so guilty of cheating, he tried to cover it up by asking her to marry him. And he tried to live with the guilt and the fear of losing Alice, because he did love her, or does love her, and he didn't want to lose that connection that they had. So he tried to hold on to it by making her his wife. And it eventually got to the point where it was getting to be a lot of a burden on him, and so he was very angry all the time because he was trying to hide this very big lie about their marriage the whole entire time. And they were married for maybe a couple of months, and Sophie came home, which this is Sophie here. Oh man. Um and decided to tell her mom that things had heated up between her and her boyfriend at prom, and she had ended up pregnant as well. So now we have two pregnant girls walking around the house. One's a teen pregnancy, one is an young adult. And so, because, he had married Alice, which is Sophie's mom, he felt like he was the fatherly figure and he had let Sophie down. And so he kind of like got really angry about it. I mean, he was already dealing with the cheating that he had went through, and now he's got a teen daughter who's like, or teen stepdaughter who's pregnant, and he like literally flipped off the handle and started screaming at Sophie, and Alice told him off and told him that, she's not his daughter and he's not to talk to her in any way, shape, or form if that's how he's going to be. And so it ended up being that she decided to keep the baby, and her and her boyfriend were going to do their best to raise it from different households, obviously because they're teens. He's going through school, she's going through school, and they did keep the baby, and it ended up okay. But in all, the whole fight and the lying and all of the stress with the teen pregnancy, Art decided to confess that he had actually cheated on Alice with Holly, and so things got a little bit heated for a little bit, and Alice just couldn't get herself to forgive him for what he had done, and so she actually asked him for a divorce, and they went through the process of getting a divorce. And Art was devastated. He really was, and he took some comfort in Holly, though he felt bad taking comfort in her again because he felt like he was already playing both sides of that as it already was. So he didn't really want to take too much comfort in her, and he kind of just kept to himself for a while and just did his own thing. He got into cooking some more and just taking comfort in, knowing that he enjoyed cooking, and he ended up, he ended up getting back to a state of happiness when he was cooking that he liked, so he continued to do so. And then Sophie gave birth to, Alice had already given birth to Alex, which is the first son that they got pregnant with before they got pregnant or married. And so he was already around the house, crawling around and stuff. And then Holly was pregnant, and so was Sophie. Holly ended up giving birth to Landon. Landon is Art's and Holly's son. And then Sophie ended up giving birth to Phoenix. So Phoenix was here now as well, and we have 3 toddlers, all boys, and life was good and things were getting better. And then it ended up being that Art decided that he really wanted to try and make things better with Alice, and he decided to go ahead and try and work things out with her. And they got back to the point where they were talking and they weren't at each other's throats, and they could be in the same room and not hate each other. And so things were looking good, and they just spent some quality time together while the kids were growing up, and just watching the kids grow together, and it was nice. And even knowing Alice knew that deep down she loved him, it was hard to forgive for what he had done. So after about 2 to 3 months of really, really, really trying, he finally wormed his way back to being her friend, and Alice still loved him, and she never denied that she didn't love him. It was never about that. It was about the cheating factor. So it ended up being that Art laid his heart on the line for her and literally told her how he felt, and she fell head over heels in love with him again. and they ended up conceiving another child. And that baby was Miss Anastasia here. She is the girl to be reckoned with. She literally, is the child that they conceived after falling back in love with each other after so long. Like, he had been with Holly and he had done so much stuff that it like blew her mind how easy it was to fall back in love with him and like let herself fall back in love with him. And it ended up being good for a really long time until Holly decided she was so jealous. Like, she couldn't take it anymore. She wanted him to know exactly how she felt. And she laid her heart on the line for Art and let him know how he felt. Now, he's torn between the two because Holly's been his, best friend, and he's loved her for his whole life. And then for her to just like lay her heart on the line and literally say, hey, I am actually in love with you. Like, I want to be your wife. I want to be your partner for life. He couldn't believe it. Like, she's the perfect person. And the weird thing is he still was in love with Alice, but he realized and recognized that Holly is also someone that he's in love with. No matter if he wants to say he is or not, he is. And so he couldn't honestly believe his ears. And so he was kind of flipping back and forth between them. Like, one night he would sleep with Alice and the next night he would sleep with Holly, and not like intimately, but just like sleep in the same bed as them. And he just kind of couldn't figure out where he was to be. And so he kind of just like flirted with them and did things with them, in the same house, but not in front of each other. He was trying to figure out which one he wanted to be with. And it ended up being that he honestly couldn't choose. He honestly doesn't know, even to this day, who he wants to be with. And he is just so love struck with both of them that he is just so infatuated. Now he doesn't tell both of the girls that he's still in love with the other. But, I mean, I think the girls can pretty much tell that he's not 100% in love with either of them. He's in love with both, and it's so hard for him to choose. But the girls fight so hard for his love. Like, he literally is in a love triangle with these two women that he loves wholeheartedly, and he doesn't know how to tell either of them that, you're not the one for me, because he knows that it's going to break their heart, and he's already broke both of their hearts once. So he couldn't make a decision. And so it ended up being that at this point, he was just so confused that he just kind of stepped back and just let his heart go where his heart wanted to go. And he just like let his emotions run, and ended up being that, it wasn't really taking him one way or another. Because if he saw one girl, his heart was a flutter. And if he saw the other girl, his heart was a flutter. And he just honestly was so love struck by both. He just wants to keep them both. And to this day, he doesn't know who he wants. So he just continues to hold on to both of them, hoping that, some sign is going to show him who's the one. And I'm not sure it's ever going to come, but he's going to have to figure that out. Anyways, at this point, Sophie had aged up to a young adult, and she actually had moved in her boyfriend to Wiki, which is Phoenix's father, and they had, she had known this whole time that she was madly in love with this guy and that he was the one for her. There was no doubt in her mind that he was the one, and they had been in a relationship so long, and she knew she was ready for marriage. And so she had said something to him like, we've got a kid together and I would really like you to move in with me. And he accepted. He moved in. Things were going really, really well. And he took her out on a date and he proposed to her and she accepted, which it was going so well. And because, they were so excited about this next stage in their life, like they were thinking, Sophie's thinking like, man, this guy actually loves me. He really, really, really wants to be with me. He asked me to marry him. Like, that's crazy. So she decided that, she wanted to let him know that she wanted to have at least one more kid. And so they decided to, not try for baby, but not like proceed on stopping themselves from having babies. So they weren't using any protection or anything. And it ended up that one night they had a little bit of fun, and Sophie became pregnant. And at that point, Twiki knew that it was time to marry her, and it's time to make her his wife. So he wanted to do it the right way, and even knowing that Sophie's dad is no longer with us, he decided to go ahead and ask her mom's hand in marriage. And when he asked for her mom's hand in marriage, he wanted to get to know her mom as well and see, because he's scared at this point that she's going to say no, and like he's not going to be able to marry the girl of his dreams. So he spent some time hanging out with Alice and getting to know Alice. And at this point, Alice is already catching on that Art is not fully in love with her, and it's not just like an easy thing to get over. And so she kind of got a wish to kiss him, which was a little bit odd in my eyes. Like, why would you want to kiss your daughter's soon-to-be husband? But I think it was more for Alice about the whole point that she wanted to make Art jealous, and he was the only guy in the family, or that she really knew in the town, that she knew she could get. Even though she's a beautiful woman, she's beautiful, whatever. It's just like, I don't know, like she just knew that she could get him even if he was with her daughter. Like, she doesn't want to hurt her daughter, but she would do anything to be with Art. And so making him jealous was like her option. And she took it, and she flirted with Twiki, and they had a one-night stand. And now this is when he's engaged with Sophie, and so things were getting really weird in the house. And so Alice and Twiki are like fooling around behind Sophie's back, and Sophie to this day doesn't even know that he's cheated. He's not confessed yet. And Alice and him are just like walking around the house, woohooing on all the showers. It's really crazy. I don't even know. I don't even think Sophie even honestly knows anything is going on between them. And so she's kind of in the dark. But they were about to have another baby. And that baby was baby Ambrose. So we've got baby Ambrose now. And here he is. He is just like the cutest kid ever. And Sophie is like in her, she's in the marriage, she's in the life that she always wanted, with kids and a man who loves her, or who she thinks loves her. And she's just loving life, and she's literally just enjoying every minute of it, and it's going really well for her. And she's infatuated with being and being with him. Oh no, not Ambrose. That's not her son. Liam is her son. So yeah, so they're like, romantic with one another. And by that time, I guess I had missed Ambrose's story. By that time, it ended up being that Alice and Art, because they were so getting back into being with one another before, he realized he was in love with both of them, they had conceived baby Ambrose. And, she was walking around pregnant with his baby again, and, it really bothered Holly. And I think that's another reason Holly actually came out, is like, you're throwing your life away for this girl, and she's like, you're having so many kids with her, but like, I'm in love with you too. And that was kind of like her eye opener. Like, if I don't say something soon, he's going to be gone forever, and he's going to be with this girl forever. And so that's why I think she kind of opened up to Art and let him know exactly how she felt. And so, they had baby Ambrose. And then at the same time, because Art was so in love with Holly as well as Alice, him and Holly had some woohoo, and she ended up pregnant a little bit after Alice was. And so, he ended up getting Holly pregnant as well. And Holly had baby Caden. So now he's got multiple kids with Alice, got multiple kids with Holly, and he's literally love struck by the both of them. He doesn't know who to choose. And honestly, he's even thought, is this even the kind of life that I want to live? Like, do I want to keep trying to figure out which one of these girls is for me, or is it time for me to move on? And, as he's trying to figure out all this stuff, when Holly told him that she was pregnant, she had said, we're going to be having another kid together. Like, let's make it official. Let's go steady. And because he loves her, even knowing he's in love with Alice, he said yes. So now Holly's his girlfriend, and now he's got this extra responsibility of, making sure that she's first in everything that he does, and making sure that she's happy. And, that kind of puts Alice on the back burner, but he doesn't want to let Alice know that he's in a relationship with Holly because he still loves Alice. So he's kind of stringing Alice along with this relationship, and it's really honestly a love triangle. There's two sets of love triangles in here because Sophie is being strung along by Twicky and Alice. Now, Art doesn't know that Alice has been sleeping with Twicky. He has no clue. But after the first time she did it, it was like sparks flew with her, and she hadn't felt that exhilaration of like being able to just let herself be who she wants to be in so long. So she literally just went for it, and she's feeling really guilty because her daughter is in love with this guy. Like, they're getting married, and she doesn't know whether it's the right time or not to tell her like, hey, your husband and I like woohooed. Do you want to like still marry him? Like, she doesn't know how to bring that up in a conversation. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you do that? So Sophie is being strung along in this relationship. She's about to get married to this guy, and she doesn't even know that he's cheated on her. So their whole entire relationship is a scam. She knows nothing of it, and I honestly think if she did, I don't think that she would be so happy with her mom, and I don't think that she would be in a relationship with Twicky anymore. Because she's that hopeless romantic who wants that fairy tale ending. She doesn't want that stressfulness of all the junk that goes on in a relationship most of the time. Now, I haven't really touched base on some of the kids in the house, so I'm going to kind of talk about their stories as well, because there is some stuff about them. But that's up with all of these kids, these guys, him, and her. Now, I've got to tell you about Jezebel. So Jezebel aged up to to a young adult recently, and she ended up wanting to become a singer. She's always wanted to be a singer, and so she ended up going into the singing career, really falling in love with it, and she got a manager for her career, and it ended up being this really nasty guy who was just really a big jerk to her. And so she ended up meeting this one really nice guy, and she kind of knew that he was married, but he was so sweet to her, and like, she had never actually liked anyone before, to the point of the feelings that she was having for this guy. And they ended up having a one night stand. Now the guy is Daniel Pleasant, Mary Sue Pleasant's husband, and so she's kind of been having an affair with this guy, and they are just so happy together. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, they are just really, really happy together, and they spend some time together here and there, and they do things together, like they go watch movies together, and it's really great. But she knows that deep down, like, this can't continue, and it's time to like end it. But when you're in love so much like that, it's so hard to give up on that. And so she just decided that it might be best if you know, she just keeps it quiet for right now and just kind of thinks about it and does what she wants. So her and Daniel, even knowing they're not really romantic whatever with each other, like she's got this girl but whatever, or this guy, this is like her prom date whatever that she went with, and it didn't end up very well. Anyways, so she's been seeing Daniel on the side, and they have woohooed a couple times. I mean, she wants to send him a love letter. She is in love with him and she can't help it. And she wants to tell Daniel, but she's scared that because he's married, he's going to reject her and like move on. And so she doesn't know whether it would be best just to kind of forget about him or to try and pursue the relationship, because she knows he has kids, she knows that he has a wife, but she doesn't care. Like, she loves him so much she doesn't care. And that she's willing to wait for him if that's what he needs. So it's really hard for her. And so she's working on that whole story and being a singer at the same time. Like, she's juggling both of them, and she's actually doing pretty well on the singer career. So she's not bad. And then we have Miss Catherine. She just aged up to a young adult. She is stunningly beautiful, and she wants to be an author. Now, I kind of found this funny that she wanted to be an illustratress author, just for the fact that the only other person in the household that is into writing is Holly. And I don't know if she got it from her from the time that they'd spent together when she was younger or what has happened, but she wants to be a writer. And I kind of feel like I don't know this girl. Like, I don't know. She's supposed to be star quality and all this other stuff, and then she wants to be a writer. So she's kind of a little bit different, but different good. She's not, I don't think she likes the drama. I don't think she likes that kind of stuff. She's very so, like, a loner, kind of. She keeps to herself, but she's very snobby in the fact that she has to have the really nice stuff. But I'm pretty sure she's gonna have guys like at her feet all the time. She is so pretty, it's gonna be unreal. This girl could probably have a million kids with a million different guys, and nobody in the earth would care because she's just so pretty. And then we have Ty. After Ty's dad died, he had a hard time dealing with the stress of the death, and he gained a lot of weight. And so recently, Ty has decided that now that he's a teen and about to be a young adult, he wants to get his body back in shape, and he wants to be able to look his best for whoever he decides to be with in the future. Now, he does have a girlfriend, and they're pretty happy together. But she aged up recently. Her name is Leah Lawrence, and he's very happy with her. I can see them definitely sticking it out and getting together or staying together for a while. I don't know if they'll end up married, but I do know that he's very happy with her, and as a teen, he spent a ton of time with her. They would go watch movies and stuff, just do like really sweet dates. Nothing really more than that. He wouldn't go too far with it or anything. And he's never, touched her, like had woohoo with her or anything. It's strictly just, kissing on the lips, holding hands, and that's about it. Like, no touching or anything. And I think the reason is because he knew his dad went by the old rules of marriage, like you wait to have woohoo until you're married. And so he kind of, I think, is the same way. Even knowing he sees all this woohoo going down in the house and all this pregnancy, I just feel like his older sister having a baby early in life kind of showed him that, woohoo has consequences sometimes. And maybe it's not the best time for him to start that in his life. So he just kind of is more, I don't, proper, is that what I would say? Proper, like a proper guy, like, I don't know. Anyways, so that's what he's been doing, and that is pretty much their story. They have a really screwed up story. Like I said, I don't know if Art is going to choose Alice or Holly. He is definitely love struck by both, and I don't know what's going to happen with Twiki. I don't know if Sophie's going to be able to forgive him, or if things are going to go wrong and she's going to flip off the handle. I honestly, don't know. Like, I don't have a clue. And I kind of feel like that's okay. It's okay not to know what's going to happen next, you know? And so I'm okay with it. I honestly am. I'm okay with not knowing, but I know that at some point, if he wants to make it work, he's going to have to confess. Like, he's going to have to tell her his dirty little secret of cheating. And I think that, honestly, it's going to break Sophie's heart. And I don't think Sophie's going to be able to forgive him, unfortunately. But, other than that, everything seems to be pretty good with the family. Like, you know, they're really knit tight family. And that's pretty much that. I can give you a quick tour of the house just to kind of show you. So this is the entranceway. We've got our living room with a little kids area. We've got Anastasia's room. This is Alice's room. It does have pictures of art in there because, like I said, he flips back and forth what room he's going to stay in and stuff with an ensuite. This right now is Ambrose's room. It used to be Alex's room, but he's aged up. There's the kitchen, the dining room. There's a patio here, a hot tub, a garden area. We've got some stuff in the front yard for them. On the second floor, there's another like sitting area with a TV, dollhouse, chess table, a writing area with exercise machine, painting easel. This room here is Landon's room. This is where Liam is in his crib, and this is Sophie and Twicky's room with their ensuite. This is the girls' room. Catherine and Jezebel sleep here, and they share this bathroom. It's not an ensuite, it's off the hallway because also Phoenix shares it as well. Upstairs on the third floor, this over here, he has this whole area to himself, which is Ty's area. It's just up a staircase, that's about it. So it's not like he has to lock a door or anything. It's just up a staircase, and there it is. He's got his own ensuite. This here is Alex's new room upstairs. He's got his own ensuite. And then this here is Holly and sometime Art's room. And then their son, Caden, sleeps here. There's another computer here and their ensuite. And then that's pretty much it for that. But that is my current household. They have a lot of drama, like I said. It was on live stream if you want to check it out on Twitch. I would have posted it from the live stream to YouTube, but for some reason, it ended up being that because I played music on the stream, the audio got cut out, and so I wasn't able to salvage the video. So this is why I'm doing a current household update on it. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this because I know I enjoyed it. I love this household. I think it's so much drama. You guys let me know who you want to see together. I know some people want to see Alice and Art together. Art did get a wish to flirt with the maid. It's a midlife crisis. Some people want to see Hart together, which is Art and Holly. What do you think should happen to Twicky? Will Sophie forgive him, or will Alice end up being with him? What will happen there? Jezebel, will she be able to confess to Daniel that she's in love with him, or will she just figure that it's not worth it? What will happen with Catherine and Ty? And let's not do that. And then we've got the kids. Will there be any more kids born into the family? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But all I know is this family is filled with drama. That's all I know. But anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed this current household, please leave a comment and definitely give it a thumbs up so I know that you did. And I will talk to you guys in my very next one. Thanks very much for watching.